Good morning, all. Very good morning. For some people, good afternoon. So this was, probably out of all the boot camps, this one is the most awaited. If I receive a, if I quote the feedback received from the students, this was probably the most awaited boot camp of the lot. So obviously there would be RC boot camp too, but because this is the first one, I think people are more excited about this. So before we go ahead, guys, I think there are two caveats that I want to put forth for the understanding of all of us. That is, in this session, my agenda is fairly simple. That I've written it on the screen. That is the how to get to the core of the RC and how to increase the accuracy per RC. This is not about how to choose a particular RC. This is not about how to, where to spend how much time, as long as the 1 hour or 40 minutes of SIMCAT it's concerned. This is not about strategy. This is not about choosing. This is about when you are sitting with a particular RC, be it in a test or outside the test, what is you're supposed to be, what is supposed to be your reflex action or this natural response to doing the RCs. Now, there are a few fundamental errors a lot of students are doing while doing the RCs is that I think whenever I sit to analyze a particular student's RC or verbal ability section, if I analyze the entire SIMCAT and I start with the verbal ability section, in the verbal ability section, there is this blanket statement. Now, I would like you guys to develop certain level of maturity while asking this type of question, putting this question in front of anybody. Even if you are asking or you're telling this thing to yourself, you're not supposed to use this statement that मुझसे verbal नहीं बन रहा है या मुझसे RC नहीं बन रहा है. This is a blanket statement. It doesn't give us any head starts to how to start solving a problem that you have. Okay. So let's say, for example, what you want to say, what you really mean is that, sir, I'm not able to understand the core of the RC. I'm not able to understand the questions. I'm not able to understand the options. I'm not able to understand what the hell this particular paragraph is saying. What does this statement mean? You want to ask all these questions, but somehow, because probably we are not sitting there properly analyzing the paragraph, properly analyzing the entire stuff, we come up with this blanket statement which does not have any head or tail, and we straight away put for that is, I'm not able to do RCs. Okay. So RC is this, I doubt I'm able to be even contain the screen. RC is this. Okay. We are talking about step by step. So your ability. So whenever somebody tells me this, sir, I'm not able to do RCs. Okay. So I ask the question, put everything aside. Okay, take this paragraph and explain that too. Okay, yes, that consumes a lot of my time, but I doubt there is any other solution to it. So I ask a student to explain this paragraph to me. So they read it. Probably there are some words that they don't understand. Then they give me some half-cooked argument or half-cooked thing. Somewhere they don't need to focus. They keep on telling me the same thing. So let's say, for example, author goes this. Let's say, for example, the playing sports is good for the athleticism or probably good for your body. Okay. This is what main argument. Author is straight away giving the conclusion. Sports may include, now the next statement, sports may include cricket, hockey, boxing, anything. So etc. Author is given this. Now, the moment I ask, okay, tell me what is the main argument of this paragraph, these two statements, or students tell that, okay, playing sports is a very good thing and you have to play cricket, hockey, and what do you call boxing, etc. Now, this is a wrong way of putting the main argument here. The main argument is only that first statement, playing sports is good for your athleticism or your body. That's it. That is where the main argument stops. If I understand that part, if I'm only focusing on that part, the rest of the stuff I can easily avoid. So Then I ask a question to the students. Then I keep on asking the question. I think that probably is my way of solving the doubts of the student. That I don't give the answer, I lead them to the answer, and I think that aha moment happens when they reach to the answer. So what I realized, multiple things I realized throughout this doubt clearing discussion or mentoring or this what do you call this discussion of the passages, that we are not able to go to the DNA level of the RCs. See, I'm not saying that we are sitting there to read each and every word and focus on everything. What I'm saying is, if it's a main argument, I have to read each and every word. I have to grasp that, okay, this is what author is saying. This is not important. This is important. So we are not able to reach to the DNA level things, number one. Number two, we are obviating few of the statements without any regards to them. So let's say a paragraph has got 5 sentences. We read 3 and we don't even consider what 2 are saying. Yes, I say that if 2 are not important, I'll read them fast. But that doesn't mean that I'm totally going to obviate them. It doesn't mean that they are useless in the paragraph. Okay. Yes, from the perspective of few questions, they may be useless, but from the perspective of comprehension, they are not useless. So my suggestion, now this is the problem description. I think almost everybody that I have mentored so far is struggling with this. So the solution, whenever you are solving the RC, be it in a test or outside the test, see, don't consider it, because sir, it happens this way. I don't know why, when this, or rather I know from where this pressure comes up. This is a high pressure environment. You're sitting there, you're just thinking what, okay, because I'm in a test, I have to think differently, I have to act differently, and when I'm outside the test, I would be acting differently. It's not like that. Whatever you do outside exactly should be reflecting in the test. Then what the hell are we doing outside the test in that case? If we are going to act very differently in the test, let's come out of this. Whatever we decide, whatever we do outside the test or in the practice session, exactly has to be reflected while writing the test. That is how you are going to ace or perfect the art of writing the test. Whatever you decide outside has to be executed. Yes, you might, in the analysis, you might end up realizing, boss, you did this thing wrong in the execution, brilliant, or you did this thing wrong in the planning, brilliant. Then for the next test you do it. This is exactly how the planning works. Those who have studied management would realize that you plan, you execute, you find out the problems in either planning or execution, you solve that, and you then plan for the next time. You again do that, probably you come up with a new error, and then you start perfecting the arts of planning and execution. So let's not have this attitude of practicing something different and doing something different in the test. Yes, I agree, it's a high pressure situation. It's this you might consider, sir, our career is at stake, but precisely this is why you should be pretty calm in the test, because your career is at stake. You cannot be childish, you cannot be this what do you call, like कि कुछ और बाहर कर रहे हैं, कुछ और जाके टेस्ट में कर रहे हैं. You have to be very rational while putting your efforts in the test. Planning, execution, analysis, change, improvement. Planning, execution, analysis, change, improvement. That is exactly how it is going to happen. And that's why you have already 40 tests here. Come on, you are supposed to write 40 tests. Why? Don't you think had it been only 1 or 2 tests again, we would have given you only 10 tests or 5 tests or something like that? This is exactly why, because testing is different, but the planning has to be executed in this. So what do I mean? How do I apply this very logic to the test writing? This, what do we do while, what are the processes of this solving, what do you call, passages? What are the processes? Number one thing that I want to share, that everything in CAT VRC is about reading paragraphs. I don't have any reservation saying that. I 110% mean this. If you're able to understand, comprehend, work with paragraphs, brilliant. Passage is what? What is passage? Passage is this, what do you call, culmination of 4 or 5 paragraphs. That's it. In some cases, 2 paragraphs that we are going to see today, one of them, 2 paragraphs. But they are eventually that, paragraphs. If you are able to understand paragraph, brilliant. If you're not able to understand paragraph, then you will have to probably boil down to sentence comprehension. If you're not able to do that, thank you so much. Let's talk about CAT 22 then. Take it. So What I want all of you to do, especially those who are struggling with the reading comprehension section, be it a difficult RC or easy RC or whatever, let's not take the process lightly. What is that process? This one. These are steps which I think everybody should take, be it outside the test or inside the test. You might argue, sir, but when we are, following the test, the steps, I think I've already shared in my lectures, few of lectures, this, what steps to follow. Some refinement, some extra steps or some steps have been changed or emphasized here. But more or less, the story remains same, that there are few steps that you are supposed to take. You might argue, sir, but in the test, if you do that, the clock is ticking, it presses. So that is exactly what you are supposed to take control of. I've been telling this thing, I think, from at least since the beginning of the SimCats, that the target has to be writing, solving 3 passages at this juncture. If you are really good with reading and speed, it may be 4 passages. There are very few students. I suggest that you should go ahead and do 5 passages. Very few. I think if I remember, I end up mentoring 250 students. So उसमें से शायद 2 को मैं ये बोलता हूँ, बेटा अभी आप जाके आप you can go ahead and attempt all the 34 questions after 5 mocks. Not before that. 34 questions. Very rarely anybody can attempt. See, my reading speed is approximately 4 minutes per passage. So I can complete a passage in 6 minutes. Because there is a lot of background reading that I have had. I know the logic. Why is author giving this example? What is the why is he asking this question and so on? So 6 minutes I can solve all the RCs in not more than 35 to this 36 minutes. All the 5 RCs. Then the rest of the stuff I can do. But there is a background, all this logic behind. For those who have not written CAT for a long time, they have not solved the passages for a long time, then the limit is 3 plus 1. That's it, 3 plus 1 or 2 plus 1. 2 passages would give you 8 plus 1 probably would give you 5 more questions. So 13 to 15 questions you already have. If you're scoring, if you want to score in 40 plus at this juncture in SimCats, you have to apply this strategy, that 3 RCs choosing and 1 RC going and so on. So I'm not going into strategy front. I'm just saying that if I say that you are supposed to apply these steps, be it outside the test, be it inside the test, is quite possible. It will only be not possible when you are unnecessarily focusing on attempting so many RCs, attempting so many parajumbles, attempting so many odd sentences, or attempting so many summaries, right? So it goes without saying that out of 5 passages, you will have 3 easy or easy to moderate, 2 will be probably difficult. So you have to think like this. You have to act rationally. You're a smart person. You're writing CAT. You're a smart person. You have to choose. Okay, if there are so many problems in the world, do we wake up in the morning and decide to solve every problem? Not possible. You have to focus on one problem, second problem, third problem, and so on. So what are those steps? Fairly simple. I think this might some people might find this to be a repetition of whatever I have been saying in my RC lectures. That is, first one, understand what sentence says. What a sentence is. Fairly simple. It goes without saying. It's very obvious thing that we have to understand what is a particular sentence saying. And why have I kept this one in my presentation? The reason is that more often than not, 10 out of 6 students end up saying me, sir, ये sentence का मतलब ही समझ में नहीं आया. In fact, 7 out of 10 students end up saying this, 70%. कि sir, ये sentence का मतलब ही समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. Author means to say something. We end up understanding author means A. We end up, taking, let's say, opposite of A dash straight away. There is little hope that India is going to win the World Cup. So little hope, this means this is a negative sentence. India is not going to win the World Cup. There is a little hope that India is going to win the World Cup. So that means this is a positive sentence. All this very small thing. There's a difference of article A. Then there is a, this what we call which and that ka confusion. So all these things are combinedly come together, or they come together, and then the entire comprehension goes down that way. So understanding sentence is very necessary. So even if you have to spend sometimes reading it twice, thrice, or even 4 times, that's okay, guys. In the practice, at least, that's okay. You should read sentence once or twice or thrice, as many times as possible if you want. Again, if you're reading it 4 times and not able to understand, then there there's a vocab ka problem, or you move on then. 4 times is sufficient enough. Then there is the upper limit of the comprehension of text then. So understanding sentence is very necessary. You understand the structure. Now, how do you practice this? See. So this happened long back, I think in 2003, when I started understanding English. I was I think Sehwag was betting. I'm pretty sure Sehwag was betting. Sehwag was fielding, sorry, in the third man. Very, very interesting scenario. So Ravi Shastri was the commentator, and he said something like this. I did not have any idea about a lot of English statements or something like that. I was in school. So this guy came and started this, this one. This would have been a good catch, a statement. I categorically remember it because that was an instance when my interest in English started developing, and how to read and how to further my English language. That was the instance. So the commentator said that it would have been a good catch. Sehwag dropped the catch, so he said that it would have been a good catch. So then I started talking to myself. I was, so it was Friday, I remember, because my mom was performing namaz and I had to watch the movie. So I used the headphone and put there. I was sitting very close to the screen and I was listening to this. He said this would have been a good catch. I got it. That got me into thinking that अच्छा इसका मतलब क्या होगा? I started thinking कि अच्छा catch हो सकता था. नहीं तो अगर सकता था तो that means उसने could या can use करना चाहिए था. So हो सकता था तो नहीं था. हुआ था नहीं हुआ था तो he would have been definite कि भाई हो चुका है catch. नहीं, so उसने वो भी नहीं बोला. क्या होगा उसका मतलब? Then I started talking to myself. Yes, उसका मतलब बहुत closely होगा. अच्छा catch होने वाला था. वो बहुत अच्छा catch होने वाला था, but नहीं हुआ. Yes, so then I got it dawned upon me कि अच्छा, this is how you construct a sentence. And then I started repeating that sentence throughout the day. Then probably it was so strongly upon me that I started talking, repeating that sentence throughout the day, because that was new learning for me. This is probably how a lot of you would do this thing. Now, because we are reading so many things every day at least 4 or 5 different kind of sentences, you should encounter and see, okay, this iska matlab ye hota hai, iska matlab ye hota hai. And this probably has to be the process for next entire 1 or 2 months. Every day 4 different, 5 different kind of sentences you're reading, you get to the core of that. Okay, this is exactly what author means, nothing else. I've removed all the possibilities of the different interpretation. This is the only interpretation author is going to have. If you can do that thing, brilliant. Brilliant. Sir, but that is going to need a lot of time. So एक काम करते हैं, अभी time बचा लेते हैं, score खराब करते हैं. I'm not going to entertain that argument anymore. Sir, it requires a lot of time. I know what I'm talking about. It is going to need time, but who cares? As of now, no. Probably we'll start talking about caring about time requirement for the RCs or anything for that matter in the month of September or probably October. Not before that. Right now, it's time for learning. So understanding sentences. Second one, yes, the combination of all the sentences, paragraph. It will have premise, it will have, it will not have assumption, you will have to take assumptions, and then it will have a conclusion. So argument, this entire structure is argument. I am looking for the conclusion, what is author trying to pass on to me. Okay, so that I will see, I will read it, I will keep in mind. I'll probably, when I'm preparing the mental map or the summaries of all that, I think we are going to do that in one paragraph today. Summaries and all that, I would be keeping that particular main argument into that. Every paragraph has got the main argument there, or else it would not be there, or else that paragraph would not be there, because obviously it is trying to prove something. It is trying to support some argument of the author, whether he is supporting the main argument or main part of the passage or opposing or anything for that. So understanding the paragraph, what it says, what it means, we have to go into that. Today's major agenda is this, the second point, understanding the paragraphs. Third one, understanding the flow. This is first one. Author said this, after this he said this, after this he said this, and so on. I'm not asking you to remember the topics, guys. Okay, पहले paragraph में author ने ये बोला था, दूसरे में ये बोला था, तीसरे. I don't want you to locate the everything. What I want to say is this. Okay, so it's like if I ask you a movie, describe 3 Idiots to me, you would probably tell me that entire 3 hours ka movie in 2 minutes. कि सर 3 दोस्त होते हैं, उसमें एक ये होता है, एक ये होता है, एक ये होता है, उसको ट्रबल होता है, दे सॉल्व, दिस गाय कम्स अप, Rancho comes up, and then this happens. He's a brilliant guy, he solves a lot of problems, and that you would probably end up telling me the entire 3 hours ka movie in 2 minutes. That is what I mean by flow. You have to understand this, and this will also solve that problem. Which problem? Sir, while reading the RC, I doze off somewhere. I'm somewhere else in the middle of the RC. I'm somewhere else. When you are focusing on the flow of the RC, this might, very fair chance that this might not happen, because you're looking for, okay, iske baad ye hua, iske baad ye hua, so I'm still in the answer. So that flow, idea ka flow, has to be there. Okay. So don't worry, we are going to practice this today, how the flow thing works. And so one more problem, which is very, very apparent, sir. I did not even understand the question. I still ended up marking that. No, thoda bahut ye hoga. We generally don't do in quant. If we don't get to the answer of the quant, we leave that question. But in verbal, no. Sir, how can I not understand English? First of all, that is not English, that is logic. Take. So understand the question really well. Nowadays, I think I would like to address this very important point. I think last 2 years, 19 and 20, I have encountered these questions that author, this question paper setters are giving a brilliant level of question that which of the following statements, if wrong, would weaken the author's argument, if right, would strengthen the author's argument, if right, would weaken the author's argument. Brilliant way of constructing the question, brilliant way. So we will have to be really very clear about what is the main, what is the question asking, number one. Number two, understanding the question, and number two, in that itself, that understanding options really well is also important. Options may be, so this is going to solve that problem. Sir, I'm always confused between two options. They are similarly worded, some emphasis is there, some emphasis is not there, and so on. If you understand options really well, you would eliminate 3 wrong options fairly easy. We'll come to that. We'll exactly come to that how to understand options very clearly. We'll have to read. You might have the instinct कि ये तो बिल्कुल गलत आंसर है. Agreed, होगा. Let us consider that it's option given, so we'll have to probably give it some respect, then reject it, then come to the correct one. So every statement, every option probably will have to read once or twice. I generally do that in this. When I was writing CAT 20, I had to do this thing for, we will be seeing one passage today, which was from my slot. So I had to read options twice or thrice to understand it properly. अच्छा इसका मतलब यही है, okay. शायद मैं एक word भूल रहा हूँ, okay, this one, okay. Then I got to the answer that. So you will have to read options, questions and options really well to go to that. Yes, there are other steps as well. I think we have already covered those in the lecture, so should not be a problem as of now. So I think these 5 steps, if you keep on, repeating them with the proper analysis, I don't want you to mindlessly repeat them, that you do this thing, practice one RC, following all the parameters, there's 5 steps, you get to the answer, you do, probably 2 answers wrong or 1 answer wrong, see what is the reason, improve the process. Okay, I did not understand this sentence, so next time onwards, whenever I'm focusing on a sentence, I will be focusing on this kind of stuff. Then go to the next one, 3rd one, 4th one. That's why my number, I generally say to you guys that every day you should be practicing 2 RCs or 3 RCs or 4 RCs or whatever number I give. There is a rationale behind it. I'm always thinking like this, that you will sit with the passage, you will solve it, you will understand it properly, you will answer the question and do the analysis. Then you will go to the next one. Whatever mistakes you have done, you have kept the mental log of that. Okay, यहाँ पे मैं गलती करता हूँ generally, या गलती करती हूँ generally, that, and then you would go to the next one. I don't mean that you sit one by one चारों पैसेज कंप्लीट कर लो, then sit frustratedly कि यार मैंने 12 क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किए, 16 क्वेश्चन सॉल्व किए, I got only 10 correct or only 8 correct, my accuracy is only 50%. तो RC तो होगा नहीं. Practicing always means that you are doing something, analyzing it properly, and then moving to the next one. Practicing does not mean that we keep on doing continuously and then get frustrated at the end of the day. So hopefully this practice wala format is also getting passed on. Okay, Sanjay is asking a question, sir, how to proceed if RC if we have to assume something while reading the first para only. Sanjay, I doubt we have to assume anything. So I keep on saying that I am very narrow-minded while solving the RC. Very narrow-minded. Exactly ये बोला है सर 10 + 10 21 होते तो मैं उसी पे जाऊँ. I'll not be thinking के but हमने तो पढ़ा है 10 + 10 = 20. I don't care. What is RC saying? This one? Okay, take this. Absolutely narrow-minded. Means yes, there are few assumptions that we might have to take into consideration, but that is the part of critical reasoning. If you want to take control of that, GMAT official guide critical reasoning is a brilliant source to take control of that. But very honestly, so another this brings me to another set of problem, that is our existing knowledge collides with the RC. It should not happen. Let's say, for example, my existing knowledge says that school mein cheating is a petty crime. Even if it's a crime, I don't know. If it is a crime, I don't know. Let's consider that is a crime. Let's assume that is a crime. School cheating is a petty crime. That's my personal opinion. It doesn't matter. It's a learning process. So you may cheat. Should not be a problem. But if I read a particular text where author is saying that anybody who is found cheating, even if it's the school cheating, should be hanged till death. My personal opinion, it's a very petty crime, absolutely stupid thing to say. Author is saying extremely stupid thing, but I'm not going to collide my thought with it. I'll be saying, okay, he has said that if the question is coming for that, I will be answering according to him and not according to me. So this our personal knowledge collision should be stopping. How does that happen? You will have to read very narrow-mindedly, boss, this is given, this is given, this is given, this is given, anything else not given, I'm not going to go ahead with that. Simple. So how would that happen? The first point, probably first and second points are going to help you that. Sentence understanding and paragraph understanding. Okay, chalo. Now let's see CAT 2020 passages. The first one I have taken from the first slot, and my idea is that because this is not a strategy session, or this is not how to write a test session. This I have categorically taken two very difficult texts, very difficult passages. I have a purpose behind it. I want to pass on. I want to say. I want to prove that even if the text is difficult, there is something that you can understand and still you can go ahead and answer the question. Yes, I'm not talking about vocabulary being difficult. I'm talking about content being difficult. I'm talking about density of the content. Both the passages I have taken are fairly dense. There are very few things which are unnecessary in those paragraphs. Okay, so let us go ahead, take one paragraph from slot 1. Okay. We'll follow the same strategy. Now, this boot camp is different from the previous quant wala boot camps where I was giving you 2 minutes to solve. I'm just going to give you 1.5 minutes to read paragraph. Then we will do the analysis of that paragraph, and then we'll move to the next one and so on. So I think I have a plan of solving 2 passages. Let's see how much we can do. Both of them are difficult, so be mentally ready that you are going to process a very difficult text, at least for next 1 hour. May not be very relevant. You might not find it's not like Pani Puri preparation. It's difficult one. We are going to talk about something very out of your reading, what do you call it, reading list. So let us start the first one. Okay, chalo. We are done. Sufficient time to read one paragraph. So, what should be a thought process? What was my thought process when I was reading the first one, anarchy? Okay, because I already happen to know the meaning of word anarchy. Anarchy means very approximately lawlessness. There is no ruler. So I had this thought before I started reading about this. The word anarchy comes from the Greek anarchia, meaning contrary to authority or without a ruler. So yes, that was true. My logic, whatever meaning I had of anarchy, was so far so true, and was used in the derogatory sense until 1840. Now this was the change of thought. Anarchy, bad word, or thought so till 1840, until 1840. After that, probably something else. So I am going to term this paragraph is dense one, because a lot of ideas I simultaneously put in front of you. That anarchy word, bad till until 1840. This Proudhon guys came. Proudhon guy came. He did something. Then two another words added. Then I'm coming to the how different kind of anarchist thing. Lot of things are there. So let us if I have to what do you call this put it in my understanding. Lot of things are given, sir. Okay, I agree. So this might happen. I may have to, in the first reading itself, I may have to read this paragraph twice, because this is going to give me the main idea of the paragraph. So I may read it twice if need be. Again, I'm not promoting that. If need be, I may have to read this twice. Or I would go ahead and find out something important. What is that? So my reading would look like this. The word anarchy comes from the Greek anarchia, meaning contrary to authority or without rule, and was used in derogatory sense until 1840, when it was adopted by Pierre Proudhon to describe his political and social ideology. Okay, so 1840, I think this guy did. Proudhon argued that organization without government was both possible and desirable. Now, this is totally contrary to what the first line says. It was derogatory. Now it is not. In fact, it is desirable and quite possible. Okay. In the evolution of political ideas, anarchism can be seen as an ultimate projection of both liberalism and socialism. Okay. So now what does this sentence mean? If in the evolution of political ideas, if political ideas goes on, eventually this liberalism and socialism would end up promoting anarchism. Liberalism and socialism would end up promoting or would end up subscribing to the idea of anarchism. Okay. Brilliant so far. I think I've already got 3 or 4 different kind of sentences, different kind of ideas. Number one, it was wrong. It was considered wrong. Then Proudhon came and he gave it is possible and desirable. 2, second idea. Third idea, that it is usual, if the political evolution happens, idea ka evolution happens, liberalism and socialism would end up subscribing to this idea. So in first 3 lines, 4 lines, I'm going to tackle 3 different ideas. Agreed. So not so difficult. I'll probably spend some time, comprehending, absorbing this. I would still be going to this, what do you call, going to get the main idea. Okay. And the differing strands of anarchist thought can be related to their emphasis on one or the other of these. Which one? Some anarchists would go ahead with liberalism. Some anarchists would go ahead with socialism. Okay, now the smartness would come into picture. Okay, after reading this one, so I've got 4 different ideas in the first sentence. May sound a bit difficult, but 4 ideas that it was bad, now it is not. Proudhon came, he told desirable and good, possible and desirable. Okay, possible, desirable. Then this, what do you call, ultimate projection of liberalism and socialism. They would end up reaching to anarchism somewhere if the revolution happens. And then some people, those anarchists, these are probably the people, anarchist thought, that means this is the ideologies, is going to emphasize, some are going to emphasize on liberalism, some are going to emphasize on socialism. Brilliant. Now I've got the core of this one. Now the smartness that I'm talking about, what are we going to read in the next few paragraphs? This one. And the differing strands of anarchist thought can be related to their emphasis on one or the other of this. Simple. Generally, I'm not saying that I'm going to read about that. I would probably read this. You know, this type of anarchists say this liberalism is good. The other type of anarchists says socialism is good. Some would say this, some would say that. I think I'm going to read all of that. So various kind of this strands. Strands का मतलब होता है एक, you know, the string. So there are multiple things. I'm going to take one string, read it, second string, read it, third string, read it, and so on. I think that is what is going to happen. May not be 110% true, but this is exactly why I would be, exactly how I would be applying my smartness to it. I want to read. So boss, okay, ये दिया हुआ है, so I'll probably go ahead. अच्छा, आगे शायद यही कुछ होगा. If I'm not doing this, then I'm mindlessly reading them. So summary. What is the summary of this? According to the Proudhon, anarchy is possible and desirable. Liberalism or socialism can be projection of anarchy. And anarchist thoughts emphasize on one or the other. Three, socialism or this what do you call liberalism. Okay, all the guys, one caveat here. All the questions and answers I'll be taking after one paragraph, one passage. I'll be taking few questions, and then after the second one, I'll be taking few questions. So I would request you not to put any RC related questions, any understanding related question. If you have the problem about this paragraph, please go ahead. We will discuss that. Number one. Number two, any question is supposed to be put in the chat box, not in this question box that blocks the entire screen. So Akriti, I would request you to please type the question in the chat box if it needs to be solved at this juncture. Okay, fine. So my understanding so far is clear. I'm going to read about anarchism ka different emphasis. Sure. Now let's go to the next one. Hopefully this is clear. Anarchy, probably our idea is lawlessness. No, it is more of desirable and possible, and socialism and ultimate projection of both socialism and liberalism. And then some anarchists apply various emphasis. So let me go ahead and find out where do they apply the emphasis. Okay. Okay, so I guess we are done. This is what I call the complex text. So many ideas are given. In fact, in the 2 sentences, the graph is done and dusted. Only 2 sentences, but the ideas are so many like this. So if we have to understand idea by idea, how do we go ahead? Anarchism arose not only as an explanation of the gulf between the rich and the poor. So what was the reason of one of the reason of this anarchism to develop or to come into picture is that this gulf, that is this gap between rich and the poor. Okay, in any community. And the reason why the poor have been obliged to fight for their share of the common inheritance. So only rich were taking a lot of stuff, poor were not. So they had to fight for it. And that probably was the reason of arising the anarchism. Rich were taking a lot of stuff, poor were not having a lot of things from the common inheritance. That's why they had to fight for it. This probably would have been the reason of arising the anarchism. But as a radical answer to the question, what went wrong, that followed the ultimate outcome of French Revolution. Okay, so anarchism, one reason was that in any community, if this inequality is there, now today we understand it that inequality. So if in my mind, it is going like inequality. Rich are very rich, poor are very poor, so they want to take something. So that's probably why the anarchism rose. Number one reason. Number two reason, something happened in French Revolution that also led to this what do you call this, anarchism. What happened? Probably that we are looking for. What went wrong at the end of the French Revolution? It had ended not only with the reign of terror and the emergence of newly rich ruling caste, but with the new adored emperor. Okay, so what happened in French Revolution? Probably this: poor fought with the rich to take control of the resources or common inheritance. But the moment French Revolution ended, there was a new ruling class and this another emperor. So the very thing they fought, they came back to that full circle again. So they started to remove the rich, probably rich class. They wanted to take inheritance, but the moment French Revolution ended, and then these people came back to that again. There are a ruler, in fact now rich new ruler and another emperor. So they are still in a soup. The entire circle came back. They fought for something, but they still are in the same situation. So now we don't need to have a French Revolution ka understanding to understand this last part. It had ended not only with the reign of terror and the emergence of newly rich ruling caste, but with a new adored emperor, Napoleon Bonaparte, strutting through the conquered territory. So now this is a sarcastic statement that he won a lot of territories and then he was going through that. So they fought to take the power back, anarchism, that they wanted to have the power, common inheritance. They wanted to have their own power, not the ruling class. But the moment French Revolution ended, they were again back to that particular thing. The new ruling class emerged and the new emperor came along. Okay. So only two sentences, everything looks important here because the first sentence is giving two major reasons. Number one, inequalities was so big that they wanted to fight. Number one. Number two, the French Revolution, for example. French Revolution, whatever they wanted to avoid, they ended up back to the very same situation. Okay, so if I have to give the summary of this, anarchism arose, the rich versus the poor, end of French Revolution. French Revolution, newly rich ruling class and the emperor. Only this much is going to give me fairly clear idea that okay, anarchism arose because rich versus poor ka divide, the gulf between rich versus poor, and at the end of the French Revolution. And what was that? French Revolution, newly rich ruling class and the emperor. French Revolution led to the newly rich ruling class and the emperor, the very thing that they wanted to avoid to begin with. Okay, so now two paragraphs. This is what I mean by flow, guys. First one, giving the probably definition of what the anarchism is and how the different kind of anarchist thing or the ideas. Starting that, this one is the going in history. Okay, this is how the anarchism arose. Now probably we are going to discuss again. I'm looking for that. What was in the first paragraph, the last line? Strands and the different emphasis on the others. So somehow I'm still looking for that. So I read the history about it. Okay, my question would still be कि boss वो आप जो अलग-अलग बताने वाले थे, what different kind of anarchism कहाँ है वो? ठीक है, so that is going to be my I'm looking for that. See, I may be horribly wrong here. I may be horribly wrong, but I can at least think, okay, we are looking for different start. This is the history of that, and this is how it started. Okay, so probably we are going to discuss about this. It's like, how did cricket start? If I draw the proper analogy, cricket start that it was called stool ball first, and then they used to throw paper ka ball, they used to play, then different format arrived. So I'm talking about history, but the different format I'm still going to talk about. If I'm talking about this, what do you call cricket? Okay. Sankar is asking, sir, if we focus on adored, does that mean the emperor was adored not only by new rich ruling class, but also by the poor? Very good question, yeah, Sanskar. Lovely, very good question. Now, this one is a bit of sarcastic statement. Understand? Strutting through his new conquered territory. Sir, how do you say it's a sarcastic statement? Strutting through, matlab, aise karke, this what do you call it? Having a positive march. Yes, I have won a lot of territory. So that would be the meaning of the strutting in this context. So adored by not poor people, not poor people. Why? Because understand, why did poor fight? They wanted to avoid all these emperors and ruling, and they wanted to have the anarchy. They wanted to establish the anarchism. But after that, they went back to that. So will poor be adoring the emperor? Absolutely not. This rich people, newly rich caste, will be adoring the emperor and not the poor one, because they wanted to avoid all this. Brilliant level of questioning. Brilliant level of question. So now let's go to the next paragraph. We have fairly clear idea about what we are reading, where we are going. Okay, sure. I think we are done. You can observe one very interesting style. I don't want you to observe that. Don't set out to observe that. It is when you start reading a lot, you start focusing on this. Author has got this style: 2 sentences, paragraph done. Okay, the previous paragraph was also this: 2 sentences, paragraph done. This one is also doing the same thing like this. So again, a lot many ideas together put through by comma and all that. So I'm supposed to sift through all the ideas and take out the important ones. What is that? The anarchist and their precursors with those who started the ideas of anarchy, were unique on the political left in affirming that. So I don't care what is political left. I don't know. I don't care. That workers and the peasants, grasping this chance that arose to bring an end to centuries of exploitation and tyranny. Okay. So what they wanted, anarchists, what they wanted to end the tyranny that is happening for the centuries, exploitation that is happening for the centuries. So they wanted to this anarchist in this, this, most of the cases in any society, French Revolution, what happened? That they fought for it. They wanted to have this chance of grasping the resources, or taking back the resources, taking back the common inheritance, taking back ending the centuries of exploitation or tyranny, were inevitably betrayed by the new class of politicians, whose first priority was to re-establish the centralized state power, the very thing that they did not want to have. So what happened? Let's say that there is a ruling class, they are fighting, they won, this poor people won. Now what? Then the similar thing happened. The politician came, the new class of politicians came, and they established the central power. coming back to the same thing they started to avoid at the beginning, the poor people. So they were betrayed that way. What was the betrayal? That they wanted to create some anarchism, some sort of anarchism, but the moment they won, the new class of politician established the central power. Now, after every revolutionary uprising, usually won at a heavy cost of ordinary population. Wonderful. This is very important. Won, but at the cost of heavy population, heavy cost to ordinary population. The new rulers had no hesitation in applying violence and terror, a secret police and professional army to maintain their control. So the moment this new class came, they wanted to have all this, they wanted to take control so that they can maintain their this power. That's it. Two ideas given here, that what happened. So if I have to take two ideas from here, 2 or 3 ideas probably, what happened is this one. Number one, they are, why are these anarchists fighting? To end these centuries of exploitation and terror. Okay. But they were betrayed. How they were betrayed? Because this new people who came to, who won, they established the same central power, and this central power started, it had no hesitation in applying violence and terror in controlling the others, controlling probably some, what do you call, some opposite thoughts, because they wanted to maintain the control. Okay. So 2 to 3 thoughts. If I have to give the summary of this one, anarchists believe that the poor fought the rich to end the chronic exploitation. However, the new class of politicians established the centralized power. They did not reserve in using the iron-handed measures to maintain the control. Okay. This is what my summary would be. Now, again, after every paragraph, I go back to the flow thing. Anarchism, negatively taken, but proud on guy came and he did some positive stuff. It is desirable, possible, various kind of anarchist. Okay. Next one, the history of anarchism. Why did it happen? Poor people, there was a gap, poor versus rich, the French Revolution. And this one, after the revolution is won at a heavy cost, the same thing comes back. That is the centralized power, which is the precise reason the revolution started. Yes, Sanskar, looks correct. Very good. So we are into 3 paragraphs now. Totally clearly understood what exactly are we talking about. Let's go to the next one. Okay, another 2 sentences. Another 2 sentences and the paragraph done. What is this talking about? Slightly, what do you call this? This slightly off the course. This is what I think about the last line of, at least, that what is given, the anarchists, for anarchists, the state itself is the enemy. So we started with the same meaning. What is anarchism? There is no central power. There's a socialism, liberalism. That means everybody is this local powers, right? This one saying it's the state itself is the enemy. Now, state does not mean the state we mean in India. The Madhya Pradesh is a state, Gujarat is a state, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. This does not. State means the central authority. India is a state, by the way. India, country, you may say India is a state. State of India is United States. That United States is also state. Britain is also state. That's the state simply means the central authority. For anarchists, that is the enemy. So you can't have that entire saga of fighting revolution and killing a lot of people, heavy cost to the population, and you are back to that central power. It cannot happen. So that's the problem for anarchists. And they have applied the same interpretation to the outcome of every revolution of the 19th and 20th century. So eventually they will have the same thing, that state is enemy. That's it. State is enemy. This is not merely because every state keeps a watchful and sometimes punitive eye on dissidents. So the previous wala thing, the state started doing what state does not reserve in using the violence to maintain their control. So that's not the only reason that why anarchists hate states or they dislike state, they consider that to be inimical. Why? Because this one, they have a lot of violence used. The second reason, but because every state protects the privileges of the powerful. This should not happen. The anarchism ka simple matlab is that you're not supposed to have the central authority or privilege one or something like that. Rich versus poor should not happen. Anarchism is supposed to be with this only few, this lot of people, not a few people are controlling a lot of stuff. That was the problem to begin with. So you can't have this. So state is enemy because of two reasons. They use not only the violence to control, but they protect the what do you call the few privileged powerful people. Okay, so anarchists are against the state because state punishes the dissident and protects the powerful. Okay, brilliant. So this is my summary of this. So far we have got 4 paragraphs and all of them are falling in the string. Very clearly they are falling in the string. Okay, not something haywire. Idhar udhar nahi ja raha, bilkul in a one string we are reading everything related to anarchy and so on. Yes, Pravishta would say so. Okay, chalo. Okay, chalo. I think we are done. This is what I call pretty dreadful content, pretty dreadful text from the perspective of students, that so many things already given, so many isms, so many this, right? So how should we interpret this? How should we interpret this? The mainstream of anarchist propaganda is for more than a century has been the anarchist communism. Okay, so the main thing is anarchist communism, which argues that property in land, natural resources, and the means of production should be held in mutual control by local communities. Okay, so these resources are supposed to be by local communities, not the central authority. That's the main enemy of anarchists. So local small communities. Okay. Federating for innumerable joint purposes with other communes. So let's say for example, one community controls or has got some part of water, so the other community will go into touch with that. Okay, आपका पानी हम use कर सकते हैं that way. ठीक है. Or probably some community has got land resources, so they would probably help each other out. Okay, you take our land, we will take your water, and probably so on. ठीक है. I'm just giving an example. Author has not mentioned any of that. I'm understanding it from my perspective. How would communities act when they are together? It differs from state socialism in opposing the concept of any central authority. So what is state socialism? State socialism is that there is a central authority and that is distributing resources to other communities. But the anarchist communism simply means that is, small, communities are themselves the authorities. That's it. There is no central big authority where this small communities are reporting something. No, only this small communities, no central authority. Now we have got this difference: anarchist communism versus state socialism. Anarchist communism, everything small communities. State socialism has got the central power. Okay. Some anarchists prefer to distinguish between anarchist communism and collectivist anarchism in order to stress that the obviously desirable freedom of an individual or family to possess the resources needed for the living. Understand, this is going one step further. This guy, anarchist communism, says what? Okay, there should be small communities. This guy, what do you call this, collectivist anarchism, anarchists say that, okay, forget the communities, talk about this families or an individual. An individual wants to have some resources, brilliant. So give him that resources. Individuals will be interacting with each other and not the what do you call, the communities. So this is another boiled down level, means going to the DNA level, zoomed in thing. So zoomed out, one the state socialism, one authority. Zoomed in a bit, various communities. Zoomed in further, only individual or families, and they have to possess the resources needed for the living. So they should possess the resources for the living, but should not possess the need or this what do you call, resources needed by others. So let's say, for example, let's say, for example, I want 10 kg of rice for a month to survive. So I should not have 20 then. I'm just taking an example to explain the concept. Author has not given anything like this. Author is saying resources only that much needed, nothing extra. The others resources owned by others or needed by others should be given to others. Okay. A lot many different ideas, lot many isms, difficult things. But if you read it this way, slowly, gradually sifting through the ideas, so that zoomed in, zoomed out approach, you would also realize, acha, aisa bhi ho raha hai. Zoomed out, one control, zoomed in a bit, small control, zoomed in again further, only families or this individuals are in control. Brilliant. So now I think I get the total idea about this different anarchist as well. Okay. Namit has got a question. Am I correctly interpreting that anarchy supports socialism and communism more than democracy as a concept? No, Namit, I am absolutely clueless what anarchism would say about democracy. Not given at all. I am very narrow-minded while reading the RC. Democracy ke baare mein we have not even given a paragraph or a sentence or a word. I don't know what they are going to be saying about democracy. Okay. So summary of this. Anarchist communism, resources to be controlled by communities jointly. State socialism, central authority. Collective anarchism, emphasis on freedom of individual family to possess the subsistence resources, not to own the resources needed by others. So I got three different kind of government, probably anarchist communism, the state socialism, and the collectivist anarchism. Okay. Yes, Namit, I know when you ask the question, but my point is we cannot say anything about that part. Darshan, is it something? Darshan, that would only mean that, let's say, for example, family A and family B. Family B has got more resources than they need, then the family A can take from them. Okay, chal. Let's go probably the last part of the paragraph, last paragraph. Okay, so again, this one is also done. Very dense, very honestly, again, this one is dense one. A lot of ideas, a lot of new ideas are getting added. There are surprisingly several traditions, unsurprisingly, several traditions of individualist anarchism. Now, this is referring to which one, by the way? From the previous paragraph, we have the first level of zooming state socialism, second level of zooming this anarchist communism related to communists, third level of zooming individuals or families. This one is emphasizing on that collectivist anarchism. Yes, Sanskar, correct. So several tradition of this. Now probably we are going to discuss two or three here. One of them deriving from the conscious egoism of the German writer Max Turner, and another from a remarkable series of 19th century American figures who argued that in protecting our own autonomy and associating with others for common advantages, we are promoting the good of all. So common autonomy, you want to, you are a single person, you want to have something to, this have join hands with somebody else to have this your needs met. That's it. No central authority, nothing. Individual, he needs something, he go to somebody else, he has that, he takes it. So it's totally reverse of this central authority where somebody is going to take charge of. It is just individual person doing all this the cooperation. Okay. Autonomy is protected, and then associating with others for common advantages. So if I associate with somebody, that is, he's also getting advantages, I am also getting advantages. That's why we associate. The moment advantages relationship ends, probably they would be leaving. That's my interpretation, but generally association will happen for the common advantage. We are promoting the good of all. Take it. These thinkers differed from free market liberals. Okay, so these are also probably the free market liberals are also this individualist anarchism. But how are they differing? That they mistrust the American capitalism and their emphasis on mutualism. So this free market liberals were focusing on American capitalism, and this the first one, this conscious egoism wala people were focusing on the individual and his association with the others. So mutual, so they also were differing in their emphasis on mutualism. So individual people were emphasizing on mutualism as well, that you should be taking advantage of each other, or the combination or the association should be advantageous to both of them. This guy, on the other hand, American, this free market liberal, were not onto that. They wanted to have the capitalism. And these people had a mistrust of on capitalism and something else, mutualism. So these guys were on this. Yes, Sanskar, probably yes, we don't need anybody in the middle. We don't need anybody in the middle. Individualism was that. We don't need anybody in the middle. Okay. So the summary of this: various types of individual anarchism, Max Turner, conscious egoism, different from free market liberals, 19th century American figures. The 19th century American figure says that protecting autonomy and associating with others for common advantage. Different from free market liberals. Free market liberals said trusting American capitalism. Free market liberals were trusting American capitalism and not on the mutualism. Okay. So free market liberals were not on mutualism, the others were on mutualism, and free market liberals were trusting American capitalism, others were not trusting American capitalism. Okay. So brilliant. Very, very heavy reading. I think now if we have read it this way, when we are sitting analyzing each and every strand of the argument, this is that summary, understanding sentences, seeing the flow of the paragraphs. If I have to see the paragraph ka flow, that this one, Proudhon said that it is quite possible, desirable. Why did it arise? French Revolution, poor versus rich, and French Revolution, and then this history of that. So they ended up going back to that main power, central power. So that was their problem. Different type of anarchism, zoomed out, state socialism, zoomed in communities. Another zoom in, that is this collectivist anarchism. Some part of individual anarchism, some explanations given. Now I have a total flow in my mind. Very clearly, I have a total flow in my mind. Brilliant. Now I think I can go ahead and attack few questions. See, which one of the following best expresses the similarity between American individualist anarchists and free market liberals, as well as the difference between the former and the latter? Okay, now this, I have to know the address a bit. Where is this given, by the way? The last paragraph that we have read. The last paragraph. So I'll probably go ahead and check the last paragraph. Okay. What is that? These thinkers differed from free market liberals in their absolute mistrust of American capitalism and in their emphasis on mutualism. So the first people, the American individualist anarchists, were focusing on mutualism and not focusing on the American capitalism, where the free market liberals were focusing on American capitalism and not focusing on mutualism. Okay. And so we are looking for similarities as well and the what we call differences as well. So let's read. So first question, we'll have to understand question is this way, that we are looking for similarities of the American individualist and the free market. What are those? Both reject the regulatory power of the state, but the former favor people states while the latter favor states intervention in markets. Okay. Now, any and everything about this question is given in the last paragraph. What is this? All of these are individual anarchists, individualists, be it free market liberals, or this individual anarchists. They focus on, they are all about that third zoom in ka part. Third zoom in. Every anarchist is for anarchists, the state is the enemy. So state is supposed to be out. What is he saying? State intervention is needed. No, that is totally out. A is not the answer, because understand, for every anarchist, state is the enemy. This option is saying the former favor people states. No, nobody favors people states. Nobody favors states. Any anarchist is not going to favor the states. So this one is out. B, both prioritize individual autonomy. Yes, that third zoomed in, individual autonomy, but the former also emphasizes mutual dependence while the latter do not do so. Given this one, these thinkers differ from free market liberals in the absolute mistrust of American capitalism and in their emphasis of mutualism. So the former ones are focusing on mutualism, second ones are not. Free market liberals are not. I could have created, or a question paper setter could have created the second statement as their focus on American capitalism. That is equally valid as an answer. So B is very very true as an answer. We'll still go ahead C and D and try to see them. Both are sophisticated arguments for capitalism, but the former argue for morally upright capitalism, while the latter argue that the market is only morality. See, both are sophisticated arguments for capitalism. No, they don't trust the capitalism altogether. So C is out. D, both are founded on the moral principle of altruism, but the latter conceive of the market as a force too mystical for the former to comprehend. So if I have to reject any option, the first go, this one, this too mystical for former to comprehend. Nowhere given that the capitalism was incomprehensible for the individual anarchist, American individual anarchist. So this is wrong. D is wrong. We have only B as an answer. So observe that even though passage is tricky, passage is difficult, dense, everything, topic is very, out of the blue, anarchism, we don't generally stumble upon any article on anarchism and we want to read it. No, but even if it is there, we can have a very zoomed in, detailed approach and we can go to the answers of this. Chalo, let's do the next one. The author makes all of the following arguments except, okay, arguments in the passage except. So means which argument author does not make. Very important, this except wala question. A lot of students boggle down by this. We are looking for what is author not saying. Individualist anarchism is actually constituted of many streams, all of which focus on the autonomy of the individual. Yes, the third zoomed in, individual autonomy has to be there, but yes, there are different. So we are given at least two examples. Individual anarchists where say the capitalism should not be there. Free market liberals saying capitalism should be there. So at least given, but as we discussed in the probably the second last paragraph, that we are looking for the zoomed in approach, the third zoomed in. So everything is individual there. Whatever we are talking about, we are going to talk about individual anarchists. So that is correct. A is correct. Author is making this argument. B, the popular perception of anarchism as espousing lawlessness and violence comes from the mainstream mistrust of collectivism. The popular perception of anarchism as espousing lawlessness and violence comes from mainstream mistrust of collectivism. Probably not. See, so I'm not very sure about this. What is this saying? The anarchism is lawlessness and violence. Author is nowhere mentioning, or rather author is probably a bit positive about this anarchism. Author is not mentioning lawlessness and violence, and that comes from the mistrust of collectivism. So probably not. Again, I'm looking for even worse option, which is totally going against the author's argument. So B, we will keep. C, for anarchists, the state is the enemy because all states apply violence and terror to maintain their control. Brilliant, that is given. C is categorically when state is controlled. Two reasons why the anarchists hate states. Number one, it applies violence for the maintenance of the control. And the second one, this, what do you call they preserve the power of this few, few privileged people, few powerful, few privileged people. They want to have the power of them. Okay. So C is given. C is very, very apparent argument of the author. So A and C are the argument of the author. D, the failure of the French Revolution was because its betrayal by the new class of politicians who emerged from it. Brilliant. That is also given. Why the French Revolution was failure? Because they wanted to remove the ruling class. After the revolution, they were back to that, back to this ruling class. So D was also D is also the argument of the author. See, I may not be able to understand the thorough argument of B. Okay, I know that lawlessness and violence are wrong. The anarchism does not mean that lawlessness and violence. No, but let us assume I don't understand the B as an argument. I'm still able to understand A, C, and D, and they are the argument of the author from the paragraph, in the paragraph. So we'll go ahead with B as an answer. That is not the argument author making. Okay. According to the passage, what is the one idea that is common to all forms of anarchism? Okay. All forms of anarchism, there is one string that every anarchist would want this. There is no idea common to all forms of anarchism. That is why it is anarchic. No, there is a common idea. See, this one is trying to play with thought process of the student. We have seen that anarchy is so far lawlessness. Yes, Sanskar, very, very true, very true. Anarchy is lawlessness. We have been thinking like this. So this only anarchy is this. we start thinking like this. But this is playing on that. No, in the context of the passage, anarchy is not this whatever we have been thinking of that. B, they all focus on primacy of the power of the individual. Okay, yes. Okay. Anarchism, that means individual has to be in the power, no state. Okay, guys, just checking. Am I audible? Okay, okay, take it, done. So, thank you so much, Diksha. What anarchism? Everything common to anarchism. This A, there is no idea. So the A has been rejected. B, they all focus on primacy of the power of individual. Probably yes. See, understand. The third zoomed in is that. Third zoomed in is the primacy of the power of individual. So I'm not straight away going to reject this. I'm still keeping this. See, prima facie, this is wrong because what is given. Are they focus on individual? No, there is a community angle as well. The second zoomed in was community. So probably no. So let's keep this one. See, they all derive from the work of Pierre Joseph Proudhon. No, so that guy popularized it. Initially, it was considered negative. So this is wrong. B, they all are opposed to. They are all opposed to the centralization of power in the state. State is the enemy. Brilliant. So D has to be the answer. B is the third zoomed in. That's why in the absence of D, probably I'll go ahead and mark B. And that too, I would still consider that to be wrong. But in the absence of D, I'll mark B. All anarchism has got this thing. For anarchist, state is the enemy. Very word given there, very statement given there. Wonderful. Let's see one question. One more question. The author believes that the new ruling class of politicians betrayed the principles of the French Revolution, but does not specify in what way. In the context of the passage, which statement below is the likeliest explanation of the betrayal? Now, this is application question. This is where the smartness or the intelligence or the logic comes into picture. Okay. We'll read each and every option. What is given? The French Revolution was a failure. No. So they betrayed. What did they do as the betrayal? That is what we are supposed to check in the context of the passage. Okay, let's see. Nicole, you're talking about the previous question? Yes, correct. So, in the worst case scenario, probably that would be my answer because that is at least touching upon that. The other two are not touching. D is not there, probably. That's why I would, if I have to choose, I would probably end up choosing that. Okay, chalo, let us focus on this question we are looking for. Why was that betrayal? The new ruling class rose to power on the strength of the workers' revolutionary anger, but then turned to oppress that very class. Okay, looks correct. Let's see. B, the anarchists did not want a new ruling class, but were not politically strong enough to stop them. No, that is wrong. Politically strong enough is the wrong word. No. See, the new ruling class was constituted mainly of anarchists who were against the destructive impact of the revolution on the market. The stupid word market there. On the market, no. So there was something else that I do not want state, but I eventually have state. That was the betrayal. D, the new ruling class struck a deal with old ruling class to share power between them. That is also nowhere. The new rich ruling class emerged out of that. So we can see all other are wrong. A is the absolutely winner. They did not want the centralized state power. They eventually had the centralized state power. The new ruling class rose to power on strength of workers' revolutionary anger, but then turned to oppress the very class. So what the new ruling class should not have done. What was that? What was the operation? Taking control. To maintain the control, they use the violence, they use that, they use this and all that, and this supporting the few privileged people. That was the problem with them. Okay. So far, almost all the answers you could have got correct. The last one, probably I consider that to be a difficult question, because if you don't understand the main argument of the entire flow, you might not be able to go to that. But let us try the last question of this paragraph, this one. So far, no question is as such which could have given you the confusion, due to all the options, all the questions are fairly well worded. There is no confusion on nothing. So understand that we have avoided that that question altogether. Sir, I am always confused between two options. We are already out of that. Abhi आज के बाद वो नहीं होना चाहिए, because the way we are reading that. Yes, in a very rare cases you would probably end up कि अच्छा ये भी लग रहा है, let's take a risk and mark, right? That's okay. Nicole, we are thinking after reading, your argument is very valid that way. There were clear options here. We are able to distinguish clear options because we have read it really, really well. I can, very easily say this one, the previous question, this one, it's very easy to get boggled down between B and D. Very easy if you have not read that zoomed in wala approach, state power, then collective this, and then the last one. So it's very easy to get boggled down. Okay, check. Of the following sets, this is also very prevalent, this type of question. At least one or two, this type of question you would end up solving. Of the following sets of concept, identify the set that is conceptually closest to the concerns of the passage. Brilliant. Anarchism, betrayal, power, state. Okay, revolution, state, strike, egoism. No, egoism is not so important. See, first of all, I have to reject or I have to select two things. What is the flow of the idea? First thing, author is explaining about anarchism, the first 1 and 2 paragraph. Anarchism. So idea wise, we are onto anarchism. We are not onto revolution. French Revolution is an example of the anarchism, or probably the starting point of the anarchism. That is not the main point. So the B and C are totally out. B and C are totally out. I'm not even going to consider them, because we know anarchism is the main idea and not this revolution thing. So we are looking for this A and D. Anarchism, betrayal, power, state. Okay, this one, anarchism, state, individual, freedom. Brilliant. Understand that zoomed in approach. Yes, Nicole, betrayal could also be removed because that was the same thing. Betrayal happened in the this what we call this French Revolution. That could also be removed. Another logic of removing or choosing D is this. According to me, D should be chosen because the explanation is about anarchism, nothing related to this. What do you call? Yes, sir. Explanation is not about betrayal or what do you call this? French Revolution and whatever happened. And then you go down. One word should have been there. Communities as well. See, understand, that could be a word added in the D option. Anarchism, state, communities. On your own. The last two paragraphs or last paragraph is referring to that. Freedom to work on individual, freedom to choose your own things. Free market liberals, and that is also given. So that is also the description of that. Why do we reject this? No, Nitya, anarchism ka definition is given. We were not given that anarchism is only about individuals. In the first okay, state is the enemy for anarchism. Then there's various types of them, communities, then individuals have freedom, and so on. This one, A, anarchism, betrayal, power, and state. This is only half the passage. See, there is one word which is given, this one. What do you call? This one. For anarchists, the state itself is the enemy. So far that is clear. So far, this one is clear. But uske baad bhi we are given 2 paragraphs explaining, okay, individual anarchism, then difference and so on. So let's say for example, or yahan pe 3-4 और words hote, so probably I would end up choosing A as well, because that is also the correct flow. But emphasis, A versus D, if I have to choose what is going till the end, what is encompassing all the ideas, then it is D. A is halfway between. State is the enemy, brilliant. Then what? Then we already have 2 to 3, what do you call, paragraph after that. So in here, D should be the answer. Okay, chalo. So I think it is already 1:30. I doubt if we start the next passage, we will be able to complete it by 2. And why by 2? Because I have committed few things after 2. So this session probably will have to end in here. That hopefully that you have understood everything. Now there are 2-3 arguments that are going to come from from your end, which let me handle. Thank you so much, Nicole. I hope that was, I'm happy that it was helpful. So this way, I'll 2-3 arguments that are going to come from your end. But sir, this requires a lot of time. We have spent 1 hour solving 1 RC. This is exactly how the analysis or practice should happen. The timing factor will come. See, this RC that we have solved is by no means easy RC. My first instinct, what I solved this RC not this one, sorry, this was not in my slot. When I was solving the CAT 20 का first slot, ना, जब मुझे मेरे पास टेस्ट पेपर बाद में आया, तो I was solving, so I rejected this RC. I don't want to read this anarchy and so. Give me something very interesting. But I chose it for the session because I wanted to pass on this idea that even though it is very difficult, very dense, the vocabulary is that, the topic is bloody hellishly difficult, anarchism, we don't stumble upon this article and we want to read it. Still, if you have to do it, you spend good amount of logic, good amount of understanding, you would be getting to the answers. Right? This is exactly how we are supposed to go to the core of the RCs. So this is one thing, timing is going to be required. Sir, what if the vocabulary, so if you have already not taken the control of vocabulary, so 2 parallels are supposed to be done now, as long as verbal is concerned. One is vocabulary, what one word is saying, what other word is saying. I think if you're working on that sentence structure thing that I shared in the beginning of the session, I think you should be able to do it in next 15-20 days.